It was supposed to be a normal night, a brief encounter, a few hours, nothing more. The kind of night that begins without significance and ends forgotten. No one on that quiet street had any idea that behind one ordinary apartment door, a nightmare was already unfolding, and that before sunrise, one man's escape would expose horrors the world was never meant to see. This is a true story, and it almost didn't end the way it did. They met by chance, a casual conversation, an offer that sounded harmless enough. The man was friendly, soft-spoken, polite, the kind of person you wouldn't look twice at. He suggested going back to his place for a drink. He would pay. Nothing about his tone felt rushed. Nothing about him felt threatening. And that was the first mistake, because danger rarely announces itself. It invites you in quietly. The apartment was dim when they entered, too quiet. Music played softly in the background, looping endlessly, its presence unsettling rather than comforting. The walls were sparse, the air felt heavy, thick in a way that made it hard to breathe, but still, nothing obvious. They sat, they talked, a drink was poured, and then, without warning, metal clicked. Cold steel closed tightly around a wrist, then the other. Handcuffs. The smile across the man's face vanished, replaced with something flat, emotionless. A blade appeared, not rushed, not waved, simply there, calm, controlled. And in that instant, the truth settled in like ice in the chest. This was no misunderstanding, no joke, no mistake. This was a trap. Panic would mean death. And somehow, impossibly, he understood that. So he did the one thing that went against every instinct screaming inside him. He stayed calm. He laughed nervously. He spoke casually. He listened. He pretended not to notice the strange smell in the room, pretended not to see things that didn't belong. He became agreeable, cooperative, because monsters are most dangerous when they feel challenged and most careless when they believe they are in control. Time stretched. Minutes felt like hours. The music droned on, repeating the same tune again and again. The room felt smaller with every breath, the air heavier. Then a moment came, a shift so subtle it could have been missed. The man turned away. The key was close. Close enough. Hands shaking, breath shallow. Survival took over. One cuff loosened. Not both, just one. But it was enough. He ran, barefoot, half-dressed, heart pounding so violently it felt like it would tear through his chest. He burst through the door and into the night, metal dangling from his wrist, still chained, screaming for help as he stumbled down the street. Lights flicked on. Doors opened. Someone heard him. Someone called the police. And for the first time that night, the nightmare lost control. When officers arrived, they saw the handcuffs. They listened to the story. They followed him back to the apartment. The door opened, and everything changed. Inside were photographs. Undeniable, horrific, impossible to explain away. Evidence that silenced the room. Evidence that stopped time. The music was turned off. The apartment fell quiet, and the truth finally surfaced. What investigators uncovered that night would shock the world. Crimes spanning years, victims who had vanished without answers, a predator who had lived in plain sight, unnoticed, unchallenged. All of it revealed because one man survived, because he stayed calm long enough to escape, because he ran when the moment came. The survivor's name was Tracy Edwards, and the man behind that apartment door was the Milwaukee cannibal, Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer.